right? I don't think his performance was there. And if it's a guy I'm looking at for MVP, I need a guy that just put it out all on the line. And Drake May was not that guy in that AFC Championship game. But
Super Bowl repeat, Seattle Patriots, possibly the most boring matchup of all time. And Belichick, not a first-round ballot Hall of Famer, first ballot Hall of Famer. Sorry, I said that wrong.
Same time.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. Fun game coming up.
Maybe the worst Super Bowl since Patriots Rams 2019, Golf Brady 13.
Yeah, could be an absolute blowout on one side, but it kind of sucks because these games on Sunday I was really looking forward to. So, this, I was sick pretty much all last week, pretty much dying. So, by about that Sunday time frame, I was starting to at least be able to move and, get up and maybe eat something somewhat normal. I think I ended up having some chicken noodle soup or something, but I was like, all right, it's football time. I'd love to crush a couple of brewskis, but I'm not going to mess my stomach up anymore, but at least I'll enjoy some good football. And boy, that first game was, it was pretty fucking rough and not good by any means.
Yeah, it was. Backup quarterback versus team that probably shouldn't have been there. But I don't know if you've seen the stat line. The Patriots, the first ever playoff team to beat 3 top 5 ranked defenses.
Yeah, there's a lot of
kind of big time
rhetoric, a lot of rhetoric and shit around, easiest schedule kind of narratives and shit like that. But yeah, they beat the top 3 defenses going into this, and they got a tough one coming up, but that tough one is also beat up on some bad offenses over the past couple weeks. So, San Francisco, did they beat San Francisco or was that the Rams?
The Seahawks beat San Francisco.
Yeah, so San Francisco was, beat up. I don't know why I had a brain moment there, but San Francisco was beat up, and then Rams were a bit disappointed, and they have been for the last 8 weeks of the season. But it is we're here.
I will say this. I'll say this about the Rams. I think Matt Stafford left it all out there the way that he played in that game. I think he kind of showed out as the MVP. I think the only person who can give MVP to over Matt Stafford at this point is Sam Darnold. Controversial opinion. I don't think Drake May's done all that much individually, and MVP is an individual honor. It's not a team award. And the Patriots as a team have been very good this season. Drake May has been above average. I don't think he's been out of this world.
No, I don't disagree with you that Drake May is third in touchdowns. And Sam Darnold is top 5 in yards. Drake May is 4th.
I don't think MVP is something where, unless you're breaking records, I don't think that's an award that should be given out just based on the stat line. And I think that was proven kind of last year with Lamar not getting it and Josh Allen getting it, is that a lot of it's the eye test, right? It's how you feel, like it's the energy that you bring, the momentum shifts that you are responsible for, leadership. Like there's a lot of non-palpable qualities and also things that don't show up on the stat line that I think go into MVP voting. And that I personally think is okay that go into MVP voting because it is the most valuable player, like who was the most valuable player to their franchise. I don't think the Rams make the playoffs without Matt Stafford. I don't think that obviously in the NFC Championship game without Matt Stafford. I think that they're an average. Would be if they had I don't know who their backup is. Jimmy Garoppolo.
It's Garoppolo, yeah. I mean, Garoppolo almost started the year. And I'm with you on that, though. With Garoppolo, I mean, Garoppolo obviously has made it to a Super Bowl himself. He backed up the greatest of all time. But Stafford really raised the bar.
Yeah, I mean, without Stafford, the Rams are the Vikings. So
I don't think they'd be that bad. That quarterback's pretty dog shit, but Jimmy Garoppolo is also a little older now and you're probably right. Probably equivalent at this point.
I mean, if you look at the talent, right, you have a Nakua and an Adams, which is kind of like Justin Jefferson, and then you have Addison to take the top off, but you would say Justin Jefferson is individually better than Puka Nakua and Devontae Adams, so it kind of scales even. Aaron Jones
is kind of a beast. The dude is on a whole other level sometimes.
Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason are kind of comparable to Kyron, Corum. They still have like a power running style. I think that they're very comparable teams. I think that the Rams defense is better, obviously. Like Jared Verse, I think is individually better than anybody on the Vikings defense. But
I mean, me personally, I do look at stats. I think stats are a key part of it, obviously, because it kind of stats are, another not necessarily eye test, but it's another way to put out in tangible form. This is what I fucking did this year. You
can't have zero stats, right? You have to be in the top, but I don't think being number 1 or 2 across the board particularly matters. Like if you're in the top 5, top 10 in all of those stat lines as the other candidates, I think that kind of draws you semi-equal because not every team plays the same game, has the same schemes. It has, there are a lot of other factors that play into what eventually comes out as stats that are team factors. It's not super important to my point, but I'm just saying, like, as long as you're like somewhere up there close, like stat wise, I don't think Drake May's 3rd, Matt Stafford's 5th. Like, I don't think that means Drake May was more like better in that category or more valuable in that category. It just means that he might have gotten that many more opportunities or, whatever. I think that there's like some room in there, like some wiggle room as far as like the results pan out stats wise. But I think that when you look at a team and you think of what they could do without that player and who they would be without that player, I think that the Patriots this year would have been a playoff team. Now, maybe they don't make it to the Super Bowl. That's very possible. But with an average quarterback, I think that they would look much the same.
Yeah. I mean, MVP as a whole is, it's kind of fucking stupid if you ask me these days. It's almost like a favoritism. Like, it really should be you take that player out, sort of like we're talking about with Matt Stafford. You take him out of there, you put Garoppolo in. It is not the same team. They're not even close. You take Josh Allen out, sure. The Bills don't do that. But you take Lamar out, the Ravens don't do what they're doing. They're not going to play as well. I don't think they had. Did they have Tyler Huntley? They did have Tyler Huntley last year, I think. But either way, like at that point, they're a 1-game difference, which is how it's going to be with Stafford and May going into this, because those are the media's top 2 guys that are up for MVP at this point. It's between Stafford and May, and one of them's going to the Super Bowl, one of them's not. And realistically, at the end of the day, I'm with you. I think we're looking at take them off the team, what happens, and then Drake May played a pretty decent season. But you take them off the team, and then you look at, and then secondly, stats. Stats are, again, that tangible figure that says, this is what I did this year. And Stafford blew everybody out the waters this year. Same way as Lamar did last year. And I think Lamar should have got MVP last year.
If you watch that performance on Sunday, I mean, Matt Stafford was keeping the Rams in it himself. Like, he was doing stuff that I have not seen Matt Stafford do, and that was just in an effort to win that game. You could tell it means something to him, but he was making shit happen.
Yeah,
over and over.
I mean, both offenses were shit in the other game before the weather got there, but you have to think with the weather not going the way it was, Drake May's going to get beat out by a backup quarterback. That was once a backup of his own team, right? I don't think his performance was there. And if it's a guy I'm looking at for MVP, I need a guy that just put it out all on the line. And Drake May was not that guy in that AFC Championship game. But luckily, we're not voters for that. We're also not voters for Hall of Fame. I do have a tweet that I'll show in a few minutes. We should be. Bill Belichick, yeah, you kind of mentioned at the beginning, not a first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm on the borderline right now. Obviously, this is new news, kind of breaking news, and I'm still digesting it. I'm on the border of whether I think that this is okay or an absolute egregious mistake.
He's second in wins, correct? Shula, I guess, is still first.
Yeah, Shula has like the record by a lot. If I'm not mistaken.
I think it's only
like 30. It's like 30 games. Well, it's like 2 seasons.
It's like 2 seasons if you still had Tom Brady. Yeah.
That's a lot.
Some of the while you look up what you got, some of the stuff that I got here is a good buddy of ours says Bill Polian, the former Colts GM, is an advocate for making him wait because of Spygate, right? That was his question to me and another buddy. But then he says he was also the GM of the Bills team that went 0-4 in the Super Bowl before he got to Indy. Also said Lamar would be a wide receiver at the combine, like it's passed him by. He's evaluated great talent, built some impressive teams, but there's no denying this is his Colts days clouding his judgment. Bill Belichick is a first ballot Hall of Famer, and we all know it.
Oh.
6 Super Bowls, second in wins all time.
Third in wins. He's still behind George Halas as well.
Oh, he's close though, right? He's close to one of them. Close-ish.
He is 16 wins behind George Halas, so basically a full season behind George Halas, and 26 wins behind Don Shula.
So not that he's going to do, because I think where this new Patriots team is shining is Mike Vrabel. I've always liked him as a coach. If Reed was retired, he'd be somebody certainly on my radar. He's also a former Chief, don't forget that. But I think Vrabel did great in Tennessee, and that franchise is going to suffer because of what they did, letting him go. Them letting him go is just as bad, in my opinion, as if not actually worse than the Browns letting go of Baker Mayfield. Like, it's just such a stupid move, and I think you're going to be cursed forever because of it. So I don't think Belichick gets this team that we're seeing right now going, but also we didn't think he was going to take some weird-looking fuck out of Michigan and make him the greatest quarterback of all time. Plain and simple, he was the head coach during that time. And a lot of people say Mahomes wouldn't be the same without Andy Reid. And I don't necessarily disagree with that.
I guess, I don't know much about his time in Cleveland. He had like 4 or 5 years.
Old footage. He looks insane because he's young.
And I don't know about his time as like position/coordinator type deal. I don't know that it matters, but it's just a tough one. it's an immediate yes out of my mouth. So I imagine like you have to say yes. Like if somebody were to ask me, like, is Bill Belichick a first ballot Hall of Famer? My first thought, the first thing that comes to my mind is like yeah, duh. Like,
Yeah. I mean, there's no doubt in my mind. I agree. I mean, this guy should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think I read the numbers. He got 40 of 50 votes needed to become first ballot Hall of Famer. So there's a list that I can't fucking see. I can't read. It's so fucking small, but all but maybe 15 of the guys are currently in a role on another team that vote for this.
I guess my question is who made it over him?
That is also a good question. So I guess with this, because I feel like it's a little early, no? So with this, is that for going into like this year, like what's going to happen right before? Is he not even, a voting? Because you got a group of people and then you have your finalists, and then out of your finalists, you select Hall of Fame. So where is he at in this? Like, did he not even make it to the big group of people? Which is also insane. Who the fuck got in over him? And what's going to be impressive and hilarious,
well, it's weird, like,
is when it's a name from the 50s that nobody knows who the fuck they are.
Why are they announcing it now?
That's what I'm saying. I have never heard Hall of Fame stuff this early, but it's massive breaking news.
So apparently he was the only coach who was a finalist, and then contributor was Robert Kraft. Contributor finalist, Robert Kraft.
So we're letting players in over him, huh?
The
Lisa Salters is a voting member of this, by the way. That's the first name. Dan Fouts, also a voting member. Tony Dungy. Trying to just find names that I actually fucking know on this list.
Well, I think it's kind of more of a problem if there are names on that list that you don't know, right?
There's a lot of names that I don't know.
Like these people should have to transparently be involved in
all TV. One guy that works for Bengals.com, Jeff Hobson.
Idiot.
Yep. It doesn't show what he voted for. All of these network, but like also parlayed to a team. A Sam Corvus Vahe Gregorian works for the Kansas City Star.
Sounds like it works for the Russians. Anyhow, here, let's go over, forget the voters. I don't care about them as much right now. Let's go over these key finalists that I have here in front of me and see how many people get in every year. Is it 4?
That number sounds right, but I feel like it's probably closer. It was like 5 or 6.
People. Don't worry.
Between 4 and 8 new members are elected into the Pro Football Hall of Fame each year, while the maximum of 5 modern era candidates has been often reached in recent years. Total class size is 4 to 8 members. Example, a special 20-person class in 2020.
Okay, so let's go over these key individuals, right? So we're going to go offense is listed first, so we're going to go offense. Drew Brees.
Okay. I think that's a first.
Are you putting him over Bill Belichick or no?
No. Does he have 6 fucking rings and created arguably the most hated dynasty of all time because of how good they were? No. He won 1 Super Bowl. Great quarterback. One of the best to ever do it. Record breaker. But he's not that good.
I don't have that exact same reasoning, but I would vote for Bill Belichick over Drew Brees. And some of this is just going to be personal feelings. It's not going to make a lot of sense. Larry Fitzgerald.
Absolutely not. Love Larry Fitzgerald. But no.
I would put Fitzy over Bill Belichick.
No, and again, I mean, we'd have to sit here for hours on some of these people, but like,
hey, I know you're really gonna.
But what
let's just move on to the next one.
Does he hold? Does he hold any records? I mean, it's his fault. He played for the Cardinals. I get it. Electric at times, but nope. Go ahead.
Just consistency, dude. All right, so this one's really gonna get you. You're gonna love this. Eli Manning.
No. I'm halfway. You know why? Because
He beat
he's
the
the
shit out
only
of
one to
Bill
beat
Belichick.
Belichick. Yeah. I can see it. And I get players are going to be a little higher than the coaches, but we're talking about the greatest coach of all time, arguably. The other guys have more wins, but they don't have more rings.
Well, but let's finish going through. Rings, I think, mean less when you're a coach because it's easier to get a ring as a coach than it is as a player.
Is it though?
Your mobility is much greater, and you don't have to necessarily influence a game individually.
You have to get a team prepared, though. You have to get that team working
as a head coach. But you
this guy was a head coach of some of our worst times. You know, maybe now great based on the Super Bowl we're getting this year, but some of our worst times that we lived for 20 years. 20 years, this guy haunted our dreams. Him and Tom Brady. Good.
Well, so, I mean, the argument seems clear that Tom Brady was the key piece there because Tom Brady left.
Tom Brady really was the key piece, but also a lot of those championships, and we're seeing it because a lot of people are, you got to stop comparing Mahomes as the GOAT. Listen, Mahomes is already on a way higher trajectory when it comes to stats, and he is dead equal with rings at this moment of each of their careers. He's beyond
bringing up Mahomes.
Because I'm Chris Collinsworth. What I'm saying is, yes, Brady is the GOAT currently, but a lot of the championships that were won with that team weren't necessarily because of Brady. They were because of the defense that Bill Belichick coached up.
There's a lot of people who were on those teams who have come out on the record and said that the coaches would tell them like one thing in film prep, and Tom Brady would pull like the offensive guys into a room and be like, forget what the coaches said. They're wrong. Listen to me. And they're saying that Tom Brady was right and the coaches were wrong.
I don't know. I also see a lot of players also coming out saying the league is scripted, but then nobody will confirm or deny.
All right. Torrey Holt next.
No.
Reggie Wayne.
No.
Jason Witten.
No.
Joe Staley.
No.
Marshall Yonda.
Who?
Marshall Yonda? You don't know Marshall Yonda?
No, that's the first name I'm not recognizing at all.
He was a guard.
I imagine he was a lineman of some sort. And just the name
Played
Marshall.
for the Ravens for a long time.
No, was he during the Saragusa days, I guess?
No, he was like during the Flacco days.
Flacco was probably there for some of that. For the Saragusa days.
No shot. Saragusa had to retire in like 06.
Flacco's an old man.
Flacco started.
He ain't from 06, but no, not a guy, especially if I don't even know the name. That's cool that the Cards are getting in. No, it's going to be a hard to find one. Some of these guys are fucking greats and incredibly great at their position.
This one, I think you're going to say yes to. This is going to be the only one on this list that I think you're going to say yes to. Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah, I could see that one. It's his time. He's also not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's been on this list multiple times.
Well, these are just key finalists.
Right. So what does that mean? What does key finalists mean?
That means that they're finalists for the Hall of Fame. So this is like a mixture of people who are first ballot and people who have been there before. But these are like the final group that gets voted on.
Once again, unlike Tom Brady couldn't manage to finish the drive. Adam Vinatieri did it for him.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that. I mean, he's the league's all-time leading scorer. He scored more points than anybody. So there's
sure. We'll give somebody one. And all these guys that you've named, except for the one I didn't know, which I'm sure if he was during that any of the Ravens eras, really.
I don't think Adam Vinatieri's in argument. I don't even think it's close. I mean, he was a part of most of those Super Bowls. He was a part of the Colts Super Bowl, too. So he won a Super Bowl elsewhere.
Yeah,
he played until he was like 45 years old.
Nah, he's an all-time scoring leader. I mean, you're not. Yeah. I mean, everything's there. So he's one that arguably, like, you put him up and like, what has he done? He's just been the best at his position ever. It'd be the same as if we had a conversation with Are you going with Tom Brady or Bill Belichick? If there's one spot open, I'm picking Tom Brady, of course. But very close second, I'm picking Bill Belichick.
The rest of these people, you're going to say no to, and you might not even know all of them. Defensive tackle Kevin Williams, Darren Woodson safety, Rodney Harrison, and Jared Allen.
Jared Allen, I wanted a lot. So for a homer's sake, I say yes on Jared Allen.
And what about Rob Kraft? Bob Kraft.
I mean, we're seeing it again, right? This man finally made the right decision for his squad. I mean, Belichick had to go. Belichick is the same as like a Tomlin or a Harbaugh in the sense of it was becoming stale. It was his time to go. Kraft made some bad moves at coaching for a few years there. And then I think he got it right. I think Braves is the answer. So over Belichick, though, no, he wasn't the one coaching. He did hire him, but Kraft does deserve at some point to be in the Hall of Fame. And hopefully before he dies, that man's looking rough.
I would say that Robert Kraft should not get in over him, specifically for the reason that he was stupid enough to let Bill Belichick run the entire organization and run it into the ground for a couple of years. When he got to take over as like GM, made all the hiring decisions, hired, Matt Patricia as his offensive coordinator.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Bad for business.
That's what I'm saying. He made some bad moves, but I don't think we're going to see another dynasty because the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes still exists. But I mean, he's on his way to being the next competitor. But yeah, that sucks for Bill Belichick. I hope they figure it out, but that is crazy. There's not a lot of names that I say pretty much ever should get in over him at this point in his life. And what he did to terrorize all of us for 20 plus years. So.
All right, well, let's talk about the coaching carousel and what we know about that then. Let's get through that.
Let's get through one here. So there is a new offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
That's our favorite plane we're on.
It was huge.
Huh. This is going to be bright.
So we're just doing like a quick intro. Everything will be right on the camera. If you don't mind, this is basically just introduce yourself. I'm Mike McDaniel.
Yeah, this isn't going to be a vape question, is it?
No vape question.
You know how you guys roll. All right. What's up? Mike McDaniel, offensive coordinator for the Chargers.
So Mike. So Doug couldn't quite laugh along with me because he couldn't hear the audio, but he has watched that video. Did you ever see the vape question that he was referring to?
No.
So it could have been the game against the Chiefs, that very, very cold game. Mike McDaniel just kind of puts his hand up to his mouth on the sidelines, and it looks like he puts his mouth onto something, and the assumption is he's vaping. So I want to say it was probably Pat McAfee show. I can't remember what show it was, but somebody was like, "Hey, so that was you vaping on the sidelines, right?" And he's like, "Huh?" They're like, "What are you talking about?" They're like, "We got the video right here. Like, what are you doing there? It's vaping, right?" He's like, I used to vape, but once I started getting a bunch of accusations about vaping, I quit immediately, Mike McDaniel style, cold turkey or something like that. Kind of funny, just a little throwback. And what I do like about him, I think that team was a fucking abysmal. And even though I kind of wanted him as the OC for the Chiefs, I'm glad he's not. I do not like the fact that he is for the Chargers. Hopefully he runs that program into the ground and Justin Herbert into the ground. I like that he could take shit from people, and he's like one of the guys, so to speak, for lack of better terms there. He's hilarious. But yeah, so Mike McDaniel, the OC for the Chargers there.
Los Angeles Chargers.
The Los Angeles Chargers. Let's see.
Chargers.
I definitely meant to save the photo earlier because there was definitely a picture of the coaches left. Who else
Don't
got
worry about
hired while we were out? Mike McCarthy?
Did we talk about Kevin Stefanski to the Falcons? I think we did.
I feel like we did last week. I feel like that happened last week. Mike McCarthy happened while we were on our week break here. By break, I just mean in between. How you feel about that one?
A lot of people are saying it's going to a lot of the same. I think you can make the offense better. I think their defensive situation is going to be abysmal. I think they're trying to change the culture around that building. This might do it. It's either going to change the culture and work out okay, or it's going to be abysmal.
Yeah.
One thing I don't see is it being fantastic for them. I think it'll be either more of the same or terrible.
Yeah, this is our oldest hiring, I think, ever. The last two coaches were hired at 34. He is significantly older than that. There is talks that I guess he is open, or at least this is what I'm seeing on the internet. Don't know how true it is. He is open to having Aaron Rodgers come back next year. And while Aaron Rodgers was a complete shit, he is not a quarterback I want, especially with my brand new head coach. When I'm trying to essentially, they're in rebuild mode. They have a new coach for the first time in 20 years.
Well, I guess here's the thing with that, right? If there's nobody you want in the draft, and you don't, or if the people you want in the draft are unattainable for you,
which they're going to be because they're middle of the road once again.
Yeah, that might be the move. That might give you your best shot at getting a quarterback that you want in the future.
Do you fire McCarthy after one bad season? If you're Pittsburgh, do you think they fire McCarthy? Obviously, the last two coaches were 20 years apiece.
Do I think they will? No. So two different answers. Do I think they will? No. Would I? Yes.
After one bad season.
I would have hired Mike McCarthy and let him keep Aaron Rodgers just to tank the season, get a really good draft pick, and start that rebuild off right.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be great. I don't think he was particularly great down in Dallas. I don't think that team has changed at all. They've got a new head coach down there that's just as bad as McCarthy was there. His last couple of years in Green Bay were not good either. He's a smart fucking dude. I've seen him a lot on various media shows throughout the last year because he hasn't been coaching, so he's got plenty of time to talk. And he knows his shit. And rightfully so. I mean, the man's been a head coach for 1,000 years here, and he's been around for a while. But I just, based off of what I saw in Dallas, because Dallas, I know Dallas fans are little. What's the word I'm thinking of? They're insane. They're
radical.
Yeah. And it's our year kind of thing, especially because we live in the area that we live in. Delusional. Thank you. That's a good one. Dallas fans are delusional and they think every year is their year, right? Realistically, that team should be at least competing for that division. At worst, they should be always in a battle to win that division and actually go into the playoffs with hopes of winning. I don't think Dak Prescott is a bad quarterback. They have talent surrounding him. And even this year with a newer running back for them that they've never worked with, this guy excels. They all look good, and then they just fucking suck. And McCarthy was no stranger to that on the team. Jason Garrett, his name was put out a lot for a possible head coaching position this hiring season. It was bad with him too. There's nobody there that's really got that talent motivating. And even when Schottenheimer there, it's not good. So with McCarthy, I'm with you though. Maybe that is their plan. Yeah, bring Aaron back. Let's do that. Also, we can't afford all of these fucking players that we paid for, so we're gonna have to figure that part out. And
that's what
hopefully you're gonna lose. So we can rebuild.
It's a tank. It's a tank kind of move where you bring him in. Maybe you're hoping something good happens. Probably not, but like you gotta think, you gotta let all of these guys on defense, you gotta let their contracts expire and get rid of them. You gotta, there's a lot of stuff to do in Pittsburgh. They really went kind of all in on like not a great chance of being able to do anything. I don't know what the plan was there. It's kind of like a person who only watched the NFL in 2017 got to fantasy draft a football team in Pittsburgh, and those are the players they chose.
Yeah, and just speaking of what you're saying too, just got a little tidbit to read here for you. Though this hire is being criticized, the Steelers are in a weak AFC North and now have a coach who is familiar with Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback. I don't necessarily agree with the weak AFC North. I think any one of those teams outside the Browns can go on an absolute fucking run. If Pittsburgh plays better on defense, gets a bona fide wide receiver too, this team could very well win the 2010 Super Bowl.
That's what somebody said?
Yeah, that was a meme that I saw online. They could very well win the 2010 Super Bowl. Like, that's the team that they're rolling with right now.
Oh, the 2010.
The 2010 Super Bowl.
Okay. There we go. Love that. Love that, dude.
Yeah, so bad one for them there. Who else got hired? I have nothing more to say other than for Big Mike here.
I will once again pat myself on the back. You heard it here first. Right after the firing of Sean McDermott, I said that I think that this was potentially the Bills' way to hire Joe Brady internally. And he has been hired as the Bills head coach. So thank you, me.
Yeah,
for breaking that news.
I know they interviewed some people. Kubiak is still a name that's being floated out there. Do you think teams are just tired of waiting and like, fuck, man, this guy's going to Super Bowl? Like, we don't have time to wait. I mean, and then if you're an NFC team as well, there's an NFC spot left open, right? The Cardinals. Are you excited that one of your divisional guys is going to the Super Bowl and may potentially have to stay head coach because everybody's getting hired up?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question. First of all, I think that this was the Bills' plan. I think that they've been out on Sean McDermott probably for 2 years, didn't have a better option. I don't think there's a better option available last year. And then when they saw that potentially Joe Brady was going to leave, who was kind of, the offensive guru for their squad, they said, all right, we have like enough players in leadership roles where we think like have a stable team, personality wise and like culture wise, and we can get rid of Sean McDermott, promote our offensive guy. I think that was kind of their plan. I think that was the scheme there.
Yeah. Looks like he'll be calling. Go ahead.
I just was going to say, it makes sense to me. If you're saying it looks like he's going to be calling the plays, like I think in general, that's kind of how these things work. That's how it worked with Zach Taylor. I think that they usually work out not great though. When they continue to call the plays for the offense, they kind of like take a step up to head coach, or 2 steps, whatever the process would be. But in his case, it was a step up. In Zach Taylor's case, it was like 70 steps up. Doesn't matter. But I've seen those type of guys take that leap and then they don't actually become a head coach, right? They're still, Zach Taylor got promoted to head coach and then acts as basically a de facto offensive coordinator. And that might be the situation that Joe Brady's put himself in if he's going to call the plays, because you're going to have to focus so much on that offensive game plan and what's going on and be so involved offensively that, you better hope you have a DC who's willing to put in the extra hours, put in the work to keep those guys in line with not a lot of backup, because it's your time and attention can't be split. You're essentially saying, like, as a head coach, I'm 50% offense, 50% defense, right? But now as taking on the play caller role, I'm more 75% offense, 25% defense kind of deal. And so I think generally speaking, that's not a great idea for a new head coach, but I think that they just let coaches do whatever. And that's,
Do we think Phillip Rivers has a shot at being OC there now? Do you think they call him back and go, hey, you want to be OC?
How serious is it? I don't know. I don't really know how serious it is.
I mean, if you're taking the time to interview and it's a team that it wasn't like he was, I would imagine he was not on there or they were not on his radar or whatever. And they did interview him. I don't know if I saw that he got called back for a second interview or anything, but I do wonder if Brady is calling the plays, why not? Like, if I'm Philip Rivers, I'm probably making that call, right? Because there's no way somebody's going to be serious enough to hire this man as a head coach.
I think
in the NFL, at least.
I think that would be a good move for Philip Rivers and not a good move for the Buffalo Bills.
Work with Josh Allen, get him, and I don't think Josh Allen is a quarterback that really needs help, but if I'm also
I guess more so what I'm
Bills,
saying is I don't think that what Philip Rivers can contribute to the team, if anything, is valuable enough to have him as your coordinator, versus like Philip Rivers getting a NFL coordinator position puts him in a great spot moving forward to take other jobs.
Sure. Yeah. And I don't disagree with that. I don't know. Can he do enough? Because didn't Josh Allen and I want to say Drake May or somebody, I thought it was Josh Allen and somebody else work out and like really like kind of turn their own shit around by working out with Philip Rivers, as far as like some quarterback camp or some shit that Philip Rivers had. I feel like I saw that. Because who else are you getting as OC? Like right now, I think the expectation after that hiring happened was Daboll. But Daboll got hired as well.
I don't think that they're going to get any name to be OC. I don't think they're looking at getting like a name, because nobody who's a name in the industry who carries any kind of weight is going to go to a team where they don't get to call plays. Mike McDaniel, for example, Cliff Kingsbury, Brian Daboll. I don't think they're going to go to an OC position where they can't call plays or be involved in the offense in that way.
Right, which is why Philip Rivers is kind of enticing if I'm the Bills. You know what I mean? Like I feel like
it seems more like a PR move than anything to me. If you
could be that, I don't know. I don't know what other skills he has. Obviously, this is a guy that I think could have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. Not over Bill Belichick though. Belichick gets in over him.
Certainly. So does Vinatieri.
Yes.
So does Larry Fitzgerald.
He coached in high school. I couldn't even tell you if that high school even won any games. So he has some coaching experience, but it is obviously high school. But we don't typically see guys like that, especially former players, work the typical high school, college, NFL system. They've already been around. I mean, we saw a guy come off the couch a couple of years ago in Indianapolis. That was just a former player become the interim head coach out of nowhere. And I'm blanking on his fucking name right now, but you know what I'm talking about. Jeff Saturday. Yep. I said it first.
Okay. Edit that in post.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I don't know. It'd be weird. Yeah. Daboll though gets picked up by the Titans. I think that is a good move for Robert Saleh. I think Cam Ward, they need to move on from him and hope that they could also draft a quarterback, but who am I to say?
How that happens.
In our Madden league, he looks really fucking good, apparently. So, he's on the 11-0 team, the only one. That guy's a fucking cheater. But anyways,
yeah.
There's some announcements with like the Jags. Jags have announced offensive coordinator Grant Udinsky and defensive coordinator Anthony Campanelli. So I think our Jags friends are excited for Campanelli to be around, but I don't know this other guy. I assume that was already OC, or?
I will say this. Those are the kind of moves the Bills need to make an offensive coordinator, because who the fuck has ever heard of those guys?
I've only seen Campanelli's name because he was being interviewed by some other teams. Broncos fired their OC.
Oh yeah, Jared Stidham was his fault, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was 3 seasons with them. They fired him. So they're blaming everything.
Sean Payton out of the league. That guy sucks.
I agree.
I hate him.
Jets fired their OC. That's the Dolphins hired some guy with a really weird haircut. I think we talked about him last week.
Yeah, we did.
And then announced Bobby Slowick, I think is his name, as their new OC. He comes from the Texans, but he worked under, I think this was the same guy that worked under Mike McDaniel. So he was with the Dolphins as well. This past year, they promoted him basically. He worked under Mike McDaniel and Kyle Shanahan, and he was on Washington at one point. So kind of that same coaching tree all around. But those are the big ones I can think of. We still have 3 jobs open: Cardinals, the Browns, and why can't I think of the last one?
I don't know.
Cards, Browns, Cards, Browns, and Vegas, the Raiders. That's crazy. I couldn't think of that. So with who's left, are we thinking it's got to be another outside hire for some of these guys, right? At least one more, maybe the Jason Garrett, or somebody calls Bill Belichick and says, yo, come try to cement this legacy even more because they obviously fucked you in this Hall of Fame vote. Let's try to get you another ring.
The Raiders job is the only interesting one left.
Yeah, nobody wants to be the coach of the Browns. I'm pretty sure they're interviewing fucking quarterback coaches at this point. Matt Nagy, if he wants a head coaching job, there's his shot. He'll be fired again.
Yeah,
Matt Nagy is also another piece that's available.
I don't think anybody wants the Cardinals job either, so I could see Matt Nagy getting that. I don't know if the Cardinals want Matt Nagy, to be honest with you.
I was thinking more Matt Nagy for the OC for the Bills. Oh, no, he won't be play caller. Like we already talked about. He won't be play caller there.
Yeah, but Matt Nagy fucking sucks. So
no, I agree with that. And I'm so glad he's gone. Yeah. Vegas probably would be the better one. Cause they need to make a decision soon though, because that person needs to come in. I haven't heard of them even interviewing people. But that person's going to come in and be ready for Mendoza when he gets there.
Maybe they're ultra holding out for Clint Kubiak. Maybe they're like, hey, you were our only option. And then they get fucking shysted on the Rooney Rule, but whatever.
Yeah, I am interested to see because I didn't know this. I always knew this as like a retail worker. I can't remember where, but there was a rule of like some of the companies I worked with. We had to interview like 3 people for the job. And the NFL has adopted that. You got to interview 3 people at least, and 2 of those need to be a minority for the Rooney Rule. So I wonder who the Chiefs also interviewed for their OC position, because it seemed like the Eric Bieniemy thing was kind of a lock, but they never announced.
The Rooney Rule only applied to head coaches.
No, apparently it applies to OCs as well. Well, coordinators. Huh. There's no way it applies to anything beyond that, because then you're running out of coaches to interview, I would feel like. Like, you
got to interview at least 5 people if you're replacing your strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah, and 3 of those have to be minorities, just so you meet the Rooney Rule.
Mine all be minorities.
Let's get into these shit games real quick. We kind of already alluded to some of this already.
Let's wrap this thing up early tonight.
I want to get this first one just completely out of the way so we don't have to talk about it anymore. New England beats the Denver Broncos 10-7. It was just a shit game. A lot of people say it was the snow and the weather. And obviously one of these guys was a backup quarterback who threw more yards than the other guy, who is the first quarterback in history to throw less than 90 yards and make it to the Super Bowl.
That's nuts.
It is nuts.
Weather obviously played a factor.
Don't give a shit
that it didn't.
If somebody wants, you can leave it down in the comments below. I can go ahead and get a shit ton of clips from all the snow games Kansas City has ever played and show you how quarterbacks are supposed to play in some of the best weather in football. Although we could not see shit. Not only was it a terrible game, could not see shit from those cameras. It was awful.
Yep. Well, they weren't prepared, I guess.
How do we feel about the Patriots heading back? Do you know, because I also said this earlier, you know, this is a potential of a new dynasty start. But then again, we still have
find it.
Chiefs and the Mahomes, but are we thinking this is the start of a new dynasty, you know, again with them, or is this just luck of the draw this year?
Yeah, what I was going to say is I just cannot find it inside of me to give a shit. I just don't care about the Patriots. That's why I'm kind of rooting for Seattle. But
well, we don't want to see the Patriots get another ring, period. You know?
I don't think that there's any I don't even think there's an outside chance that this, you know, turns into another dynasty situation. Like, I think that they'll be competitive for the next 6 years or so. Nothing more than what the 49ers have been, maybe. I think that their upside is the 49ers, like just kind of making it to relevancy like over and over again. With the low side of like the Seahawks, where they like have up and down years. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I like Vrabes. Vrabes is going in also as the potential first player and coach to win a ring in each of those respective positions. No other player has ever won a ring as a head coach. There's got to be a coordinator or somebody out there that's won it as some sort of coach, but definitely not as a head coach. So that would be cool. I thought Ramondre Stevenson looked really, really good in this game. Jarrett Stidham had one really good pass. That was impressive, and that's about it. That was the entire game.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was semi-odd that they had what's his name? What's Henderson's first name?
Ramondre. Oh, Henderson.
Henderson, yeah.
Sorry, Stevenson. Henderson.
Trayvon.
Yeah.
Trayvon. Yeah. I'm sorry. I wanted to say Taraji B. Henson. Not important. Yeah. I don't understand what their backfield situation is. That's the only thing that I have coming out of this is like, what is that going to look like?
I think overall, Ramondre has been their top guy. He just keeps getting hurt. And then I think he had some fumbles that was hurting his ability to play. But, you know, Henderson rushed 3 times and got 5 yards. Where Drake May had the highest average out of all of them. He was second in rushing. Drake May did rush. I saw something out of that. You know, we talked about quarterbacks putting their shit all out there and for the shit weather. I guess Drake May did something in this game. I mean, he rushed 10 times for 65 fucking yards. Without that, they don't get in field goal range to score that game-winning field goal that we didn't realize was going to be a game-winning field goal.
So I just want to say that I wasn't implying that he did 0 things.
I forgot about the rushing. I guess that was a bit of a highlight. How do you, let's wrap up this game. My last question, at least to you, how do you feel about your buddy Sean Payton not going for the 3 and trusting Jarrett Stidham, a career backup, to try to get a touchdown and go up 14-0?
I mean, he is as he's always been, and that's a fucking joke. I mean, there's nothing special about Sean Payton. I hope he gets fired.
Yeah. Well, I hope he's enjoying the Walmart money. Next game we got was way better.
He has Walmart money? What?
Well, he's getting paid Walmart money.
Yeah,
the Broncos. They're owned by the Walmart.
Yeah. Yeah. I understand what you mean now. I got it. I thought you meant he was like
poor,
making the same amount of money as a Walmart, and I was like, "There's no."
Oh yeah,
he's probably making a lot, but
I mean, decent.
Yeah,
obviously the game of the weekend, because there was only 2, was Seattle versus Rams. I really thought Rams had a chance in this, and you know, like we talked about earlier, Stafford put it all on the line. I mean, he's 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. But equally as so, Sam Darnold, 346 yards, 3 touchdowns. They're pretty equal. Outside of Kenneth Walker just had some moments, and Kenneth Walker was really the game changer. And then, Sam Darnold's not doing that without JSN either. JSN, can we, we talked about Jefferson. We know that you have either the first or second, depending on what argument you're in, best wide receiver in Jamar Chase. JSN, we got to put him up in those categories though, right? At this point already in his career, like he's kind of fucking nasty. And do we see?
Yeah, he's definitely a top 5 receiver. I think the thing that he has going against him in that category is he can't be as physically imposing as some of those other guys. Justin Jefferson, obviously big dude. CD Lamb, bigger guy. Jamar Chase obviously plays very tough and can actually dumpster some people. Very strong. I think that's the only thing that JSN's really missing which is why he's not in the argument as best in the league, is like he just can't kind of out physical a lot of guys. But I mean, it doesn't really matter because he can outrun them. He can run sharp routes. He has over the top speed, obviously, and just a great ability to get open. So,
I mean, he looks like he has some strength. I mean, this really is their almost 1-to-1, but I'm going to put a caveat on that. It's almost a 1-to-1 replacement to Tyler Lockett, but I think this kid is lights out compared to Tyler Lockett. And unfortunately for Tyler Lockett, the season he finally decides I'm done, playing for the Seahawks. the Seahawks go to the fucking Super Bowl, and he's on the outside looking in.
Yeah. I think that he's miles better than Tyler Lockett for sure. I mean, he deserves to be in the conversation. He's top 5.
Yeah.
He's top 5 easily.
Puka Nacua, I'd love to, if we're looking at the last couple seasons here, Puka also is in that conversation for me, at least. That dude.
If you're talking about receivers playing right now, we just named the best 5 in my opinion.
I agree. Puka played lights out. Devontae Adams finally kind of shows up, because he hasn't been around for the last couple of weeks. He had some injuries, and it didn't seem like they were using him because Puka could probably be leading in a whole lot of shit. But, when it gets down to like the red zone and shit, they were throwing a lot to Devontae Adams. And I don't know if that's why the offense started to look a little weaker, but at the same time, Puka Nacua is also a game changer for that team with the Rams. If he's not on that field, and especially if Devontae is kind of nursing injuries and shit, Stafford's got nobody to throw to. And Puka, I mean, that dude's just electric to watch. I mean, between him and JSN, they made the game incredibly entertaining. Kenneth Walker also ran great. Blake Corum and Kyron both looked pretty good throughout the entire game. A lot of people were saying that they wanted to cancel the Super Bowl and just give us a best of 3 between Seattle and the Rams. That's your Super Bowl winner, is best of 3 out of those 2.
I go for that.
Yeah.
I don't think Patriots fans would.
No. But, just like the Chiefs, you had your time. But yeah, that's a wrap up on the weekend. So obviously, we've both said it. Seattle by 1 million, right? For the Super Bowl.
Yeah, for sure. Looking forward to hopefully Seattle just absolute raw dogging them.
Yeah, I think the Patriots are a good team. I think Vrabes is going to have that defense ready, because they've got the coordinator with McDaniels, whichever one it is, on the offensive side. I don't remember who their DC is though, but we know Vrabel's the kind of defensive guy there.
Yeah.
I think it can be a good game, but I'm not sure based off what I've seen over the last 3 weeks, because even in better weather, like weather has played a factor for somebody like Drake May. Drake May still fumbled the ball like 6 or 7 times in this little playoff run. He's thrown multiple interceptions in this playoff run. And I just wonder if they're just a little too young. Meanwhile, you got Sam Darnold playing with a chip on his shoulder. He's the first player to go back-to-back 14-win seasons in the history of the NFL as a quarterback. And then he's headed to a Super Bowl after the Vikings said, we don't want you anymore. which is kind of fucking insane if you ask me. And obviously Mike McDonald over there is the truth. And I just wonder if the Ravens also miss him, but I don't know how the Super Bowl is going to go. Outside of that, I think it could be an ass kicking. I think it's going to be a terrible game overall. And I can't wait for the Chiefs to be back in it next year because we'll be back. And then
we'll see what happens for sure.
The last thing I got for you, let's get back to our other thing. The last bit of news, because I just saw it here, that came out, I think either yesterday or today. Shredder Sanders is a Pro Bowler.
I saw that.
Thoughts? Who knew 4 wins would get you a Pro Bowl vote?
Who gives a shit? That's my thoughts. Like, the Pro Bowl's not fun. Like, if I was reviewing a resume and I saw like Pro Bowl selection, I wouldn't think twice.
Yeah, I was going to ask what your thoughts on the Pro Bowl in current times. Like, you think it's time to just get rid of it? Maybe come up with a different type of award that maybe you get named to a best of the year kind of thing. Maybe even a voting system for that, similar to the Pro Bowl, but there is no games or anything. I mean, the Pro Bowl to me hasn't been the same in years. I even saw a clip today of Jim Harbaugh thrown at like the quarterbacks competition back in the day. And that's when the Pro Bowl to me was electric and fun to watch.
Yeah, when they were going to Hawaii, when they were doing the skills competitions where it was just like throw this ball really far, lift this weight, that was tight.
Yep.
All all-star games across every sport that I watch, which is all of them except for hockey, are the worst thing in the world to watch to me.
Yeah. I mean, there's even basketball though. Basketball's not fun to watch.
The All-Star game, no, not really. Nobody really gets into it anymore and wants to like win the game.
And that's how I feel about the even before they stopped doing tackle football. That's how it felt. It was just a showcase. Nobody was really doing anything. The real good players typically haven't been going, which is how Shredder Sanders got in. I mean, people are now, even as people that aren't even close to the fucking Super Bowl, are bowing out saying, no, Travis Kelce got voted in as one of the tight ends this year, and he declined the invite. Said, no, I'm good. So I forget who got to go in his place, but
yeah, because it's like, what would you rather do? Go to the Pro Bowl and participate, or take a nap on your couch?
Yeah,
and everybody's gonna take a nap. I would.
Yeah,
I might rather have jury duty than go to the Pro Bowl.
Thought the same, and then they tried bringing it with the flag football and get like these almost like rivalries going between the two head coaches, you know, like a Peyton versus Eli or whoever he went up against, like all these cool things. This year's Jerry Rice versus Steve Young. That's not a rivalry. They were each other's teammates. Some of the best ever. I don't know. It's a joke at this point, but yeah, that's going to be it. I've got nothing else.
Give them an extra bye week and fucking just, I don't know. Who cares? Yeah, I got nothing else. Get rid of the Pro Bowl. That's my last thing.
Yeah, get rid of the Pro Bowl. And let's hope for better teams in the Super Bowl next year. And let's just hope for a good game.
Yeah, and like, hey, by the way, if you made it this far, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, all those things. But more importantly, look out next week for some new content. Potentially not related to the NFL, considering the season's coming to a close. Obviously, we'll still cover news as it comes out, but we'll be talking about some other topics that we find interesting, and you might just find it too.
One of them I'm very excited for, and we'll see what happens.
Namaste, everyone.
All right.
Namaste.
Goodbye.